Hi you guys. I lowered my tripod a little bit, so this might actually be a better area where I don't feel like you're so far away. I don't feel like I've gotten a whole lot of crafting done because I've been messing with the computer, trying to get things ready to live stream on Wednesday to alter the cans with you guys and the jars. But I have some bad news. I'm just not going to be able to live stream because my computer just can't handle it. I use too many CPUs on my camera or on my computer trying to live stream, and that slows down the camera, and the image just isn't clear enough, and then it causes the computer to buffer, so it wouldn't be worthwhile for us to do it. So I'm really disappointed. Probably more disappointed than you guys are actually, because I really wanted to spend some one-on-one time with you guys and get to know you better, so I'm really bummed about it. And believe me, I've spent hours downloading different encoder software. There's a bunch of free software, and it's mainly trial version, but that's okay. I was willing to do that. You know, just use the trial versions. It was good enough for what I was going to use it for, but and then with my camera not being equipped, you know, I found a way to get around that by using the video recorders on my phone, by downloading some webcam type software onto my phones to make that work that way, which is fine because the cameras on my phone, I mean, they're good cameras on my old phone and then my Android phone that I use now. The girls are so full of energy today, and the weather outside is not very good, so we've got that going on inside the house right now. So if you hear them, I'm sorry. They're a bit loud, and they're not listening real well today. So we've got that not going I had that going for me, but then nothing else was working out. So I finally just threw in the towel and said, okay, I give. So I'm not going to be live streaming that, and I apologize. So as for now, I'm not going to be able to live stream any crafting videos. Now, during all of this, I did find that Google Hangouts, the video quality on Google Hangouts was the best. So if you guys are interested in that, leave it in the comments. What you're going to have to do is follow me on Google Hangouts on Google, and then you would get notified through Google of the Hangout. I don't use Google that much, but I have recently added a bunch of people because Google and YouTube, they're connected. So if you follow people on YouTube, then they come up on your Google it's kind of like a Facebook thing to where you can follow them on Google. So I don't know if you guys are on that. Maybe we can connect there, and we can do a live Google Hangout, and I can do videos on there, and then you can comment and stuff. So that's an option as well. And I can also do live stream, or is it called Ustream? I have done Ustream before, and that seems to work out just fine. So, yeah, we just can't do it on YouTube. And then Facebook, you would all have, I can't do it on my community page on Faith Unedited, so you would all have to be friends with me on my personal Facebook page. And so then we have that, because you wouldn't be able to comment, we couldn't communicate. We could all do Skype, but then there would be no video. So I don't know. If any of you guys have any ideas, you know, any kind of video conference type of a thing where there's good video, then let me know. I mean, I'm all up for doing it. But I spent most of today getting mail together to go out, because I've got like 16 envelopes of mail to go out. People have just been, I make ATCs and they just go. So these are the ATCs that other people have sent me, and then in the back of this book are the ATCs that I've made. And I've got a few in here, but I started making, I don't know how well you, like these ones with the sketches, and people really like them. So I started to pull some out. And I was so scared of the postage, what the postage was going to be this time, that I put them just in regular envelopes. I was so frightful that my postage was going to be over $30 that I said I'm just going to mail them in regular envelopes. So I started these ones last night, and I'm not finished with them yet. So I need to finish these ones, but to tell you the truth, I'm kind of ATC'd out. But I did find a bunch more images that I want to do, so I don't necessarily want to do ATCs right now. I am going to finish these ones up tonight. So I'm going to put these in a safe place where water can't hit them. But I opened up some cards that I sent my ATCs in, and they are perfect for tags. So these are just the little hangers, the backer boards that these thank you cards came on. And I'm new to buying all these thank you cards. I don't typically buy these. But, you know, I have received some really nice happy mail, and since I'm making these ATCs, I wanted to, you know, have nice little cards to be able to send them in. But look how cute those are. I showed you guys, but I wanted to show you again. So anyways, these boards, look how nice they are. I just thought that these would make really nice tags. So I am gonna pick out some images that I saved, and I'll be back. And back to ATCs while it's deciding if it's going to print for me or not. So this is what I've got so far. I cut this girl's face out. I have inked her up. I'm almost out of my color box black ink, chalk ink here. So I ordered some more, it seems like 3 weeks ago. I could be wrong, but it seriously seems like I ordered from Joann's like 3 weeks ago, and I still haven't gotten my order. Because I can get the color box chalk inks from Joann's through the mail for $1.19 a piece. And I really, really like those. I know they're small, but I really like them. So until I find something else, I'm just going to continue to get them. And I have to tell you guys, since I started using these fine line bottles, I have saved so much glue. Because what am I doing? Because you don't have any waste. Like seriously, you have no waste. You don't have any glue squirting out of the sides of whatever you're gluing. There's no waste. So those bottles, even though, you know, I think they were $7.99 on Amazon for 2 of them, totally worth, because look, I've used maybe 3/4 of it, and that's been, I don't know how long ago it's been since I started using these. I guess I could go back and look at the videos. But I've only used 3/4 of one of these bottles. I've used the big bottle on bigger projects just maybe once or twice because I needed more glue to squirt out of it. But I mostly just work on these little projects. And I am so happy with this because you just don't use nearly as much glue, so you have little waste. You know, like seriously, look at how little amount of glue comes on here, so you just don't have the waste. And it sticks just fine with a little bit of glue. You can get the edges really closely. Like all you need is a little bit on the edges. See, seriously, that's all you need on there. And it sticks down just fine. I think I want the darker color on the bottom. Did you bring another bug in the house? Haley? No more bugs in the house. They keep bringing grasshoppers in the house to play with them, and it just gives me the willies. That girl loves bugs. So you don't have any glue that comes out the edges. And there's so little amount of glue that you don't get rippling in your paper. So if you guys want to invest in something that's a wonderful tool, these fine liner bottles are it. At first I wasn't convinced because you do have to squeeze the bottle, you know, because it is a fine tip. So you do have to squeeze them a bit. So if you have arthritis in your hands, they might not be very easy for you. But you get used to that as long as you don't have, you know, something wrong where it causes you pain. But I got used to squeezing the bottle a bit harder, so. And I do have some arthritis in my hands, but nothing debilitating, so. But if you do have some arthritis in your hands to where you can't grip or squeeze, then you might want to not invest in them, but I am very happy with them. So that's what those ones are looking like so far. I'm gonna do more to them, but so far that's what she's looking like. Oh, it's been a long day. I messed with that computer for so long today that I wore my after yesterday. Let's see. Yesterday and today, I messed with that computer so much that I have just wore myself out over it. So then I just edge where I cut around her face here to give a little definition where the cuts were. Okay, then I'm gonna, she's too big for this paper, so I have to position where I'm gonna cut her. So I position it and I flip, and I'm going to cut along the cut edge. Cut it off. I'm going to glue onto my cardstock. Pulled my tripod down a little lower so it wasn't such a big reach for me. But it's such a nice and I'm not getting as much glue on my fingers, so therefore I'm not transferring as much onto my images. And seriously, that's all you need. And then I flip. Get a credit card, an old gift card. In this case, I'm using my old driver's license. And I just do that on the back. You can do it on the front too if you want. I just like to do it on the back just so that I don't transfer any glue or paint or anything onto the front. I've just gotten into the habit of doing it on the back where there's not an image, or the good side. I don't want to do it on the good side if I don't have to. This is so nice because you can get into all those little cut pieces, like her eyelash here. I can get right on there, the edge of her nose. And then if I don't get that stuck down well, if I didn't get glue on there, it's really easy to get this fine point up underneath there once I apply her down to the surface. Line her up in my corner. up just a hair if I have to. No, too far. And then push her down, turn it over. And then I'm going to cut this piece off. Okay. I like to chalk my edges, and I like to use black on these sketched pieces because it really brings the image out. I would much rather use my color box, but it's just not enough ink on it. Okay. And then one more. These go so fast. The time that you spend on these are cutting. And see, like, I like to back all of mine with cardstock, black cardstock, so I just spent some time last night cutting a bunch of black cardstock. So let's ink her face where I cut and go really lightly. I slant it a bit more towards the back side so as not to get too much on her face. And then if I have a tight spot like this, I'll just bend the card back. And I'm getting into the second spot is a bit tricky. So you can maneuver it back, or you can use something like a Q-tip or a makeup brush, like to get into the crease of her neck here. Go up here and get in the flowers. See how long it's taken my printer to decide that it was going to print for me. Me and that printer have a massive love-hate relationship. We just really don't respect each other. So I'm just going to even this up. Decide where I want it. And even if it's not perfect, even, that's okay, because we're going to ink the edges. So it doesn't have to be, because once we ink that with black, you're not going to be able to see where those papers meet. Okay, so that's cut. Take another piece of cardstock. I'm used to holding this up. I'm not used to it being flat on the table. I like to go around my edges and get as close to the edge as I can so that there's no lifting. And then I just fill in. Down. Now with using less glue, you don't have the wiggle room that you do if you're using a big old blob of it. Because once you stick it on there, it's pretty much stuck. You can lift it up. You do have more time than say if you were using a glue runner, like an what are they called? ATG gun or whatever. So see, I can get like right on her eyelash, right up to where the edge of those flowers are. Right up to the edge without worrying about that glue seeping out the edges. It just won't happen. There's not enough glue on there. And then fill in. And that's all the glue you need. Okay, then I'm going to line up. Make sure I'm pretty close to the top. Again, the ink is going to even all of that out. Give it a press. Cut this off. And there we go. Get my ink. Do my sides. So when I was testing my YouTube live stream, there was one lady that every time I would go live, she would be there, and her name was Helen. So I just wanted to personally thank you, Helen, for your support and for being my eyes and ears to let me know what was going on the other side of my video. I appreciate you being there and being my support during that. It was nice to have somebody there and being encouraging, and so thank you so much for that. That was kind for you. Now, like I mentioned before, you don't want to keep your lid off of this for too long because that's such a small, thin reservoir. The glue can dry up inside there. So this is what she looks like so far, and then I'll go in. This one got a little bit of speckle on her face, but that's okay. I will go in and add some detail. Oh my goodness, excuse me, to her face. I don't feel real detail right now, so I'll do it later. So, these are the images. I thought that maybe I wanted to do her on a tag, but I think she needs to be bigger than that. Actually, I'm thinking that maybe they all might need to be bigger. So let me see here.